Yo, what is up? So I got the NFC, this is the AFC North actually. AFC North draft breakdown. I'll go through each team's draft class and just give my thoughts on what they did. So we'll start off with the Baltimore Ravens, who took Kyle Hamilton with their first pick. Yeah, I really like it. Just too good a pass up on that point. Wasn't really a huge need on the roster because they did sign Marcus Williams. They have Chuck Clark. So it's not like a huge need, but Kyle Hamilton still on the board. Um, yeah, other teams probably would have took him after that, like straight away. Like the Eagles probably would have taken him. Yeah, the Saints might have even thought about it. So just grabbing him here and getting a really good player and just kind of figuring it out from there, I really like. I think he'll probably be used more in the box for the Ravens, which I think would be a good idea because Marcus Williams can kind of play up high as a free safety. You can have Kyle Hamilton kind of just roaming around, matching up on tight ends, stopping the run, because that's what he's very good at. Very not as good in coverage against like speedy receivers or something, but that's why he's good against tight ends because he has the length and size to match up well. So I thought that was a good pick. And then Tyler Linderbaum with their other first round pick that they traded up for. Um, yeah, not the best scheme fit just because they kind of like those more powerful players, and Linderbaum kind of fits more of a wide zone blocking scheme just because he's a bit undersized. But he's just a really good player, so I do like it, and it was a need for them after losing Bradley Bozeman. They needed to replace either center or guard. They needed somebody, so I do like picking up Tyler Linderbaum. I think it will work fine. I don't think the size concerns are going to be too bad. I think they'll be creative with how they use him. Because, I mean, he is such a good athlete. You can kind of, maybe they try and do more pulling him out and getting him on the run. I would not be surprised. I think it will turn out very well. I do like Tyler Linderbaum as a player. So I like the pick. And this is another really good pick, David Ojabo. Yeah, amazing pick. He is probably going to miss the whole year because it was a torn Achilles. But just taking a shot on a dude who has tremendous upside at a pass rush position because he's only been playing NFL football for like 4 years, and he's played really good football last season, especially without really knowing what he's doing. So if you can coach him up and improve his run defense and his pass rush moves, then I think you got yourselves a steal of a pick and a person that would probably be going in the first round if it wasn't for his injury. And he also reunites with his defensive coordinator and his old high school teammate in Josh. No, in OA. So yeah, I like that. I like that. I like it. Travis Jones also. I thought he'd go in the second round, maybe even the first round. So they get him in the third round. That's just an amazing pick. Kind of beefing up that run defense and that interior defensive line even more. He also has upside as a pass rusher because he looked very good at that at the Senior Bowl and everything. And you already know he's a good run stopping player. So you can kind of rejuvenate that defensive line that was getting a bit older anyway. And him and Justin Matabuke can be a pretty good duo for quite a few years to come. I just love the pick. Really strong player who has pass rush upside, of course. And yeah, third round for that, for a starting defensive lineman. I really like it. And again, they just keep killing it. Daniel Falele, developmental tackle. I don't know if he can start straight away. I don't know, he just needs to learn a bit more. I mean, he's got the perfect size for how they like their offensive linemen to be. They like those big dudes at their tackles and stuff to really help them run the ball. Because he's going to be amazing in run blocking when he does get in there. And they can kind of help him out in pass protection, which is kind of a bit of his liability. He's not the best pass protector. He's just such a good player that they can develop and do such a good job at it. So I think it'll work out well, and I think they've got themselves a starting tackle for the future in the fourth round. Jaylen Armour-Davis, also a really good pick. Just hasn't really played a lot at Alabama just because of injuries. But when he did play last year, was a really good player. Was a bit underrated just because of how good his year was last year. People weren't really talking about him going really early in the draft, and they get a player in the fourth round that can really provide really good depth to their secondary, who they kind of already got their starters. But I think he can plug in as kind of their fourth corner, and if injuries do happen again, then you got somebody that you can rely on and Jaylen Armour-Davis, so I thought that was a really good pick. Charlie Kolar also, yeah, a really good, reliable backup tight end for Andrews. So I think that'd be a very good pick for them. Just getting another dude who can provide more depth for the position. I think he'll be utilized quite a lot because they do like to use their tight ends. And just a really reliable target, good route runner also. So I like Charlie Kolar. And I mean, they have so much fourth round picks. They just decided to take a putter. Yeah, I mean, Jordan Stout's a really good putter. If he's their best putter on the board, then I don't hate them picking him. And Isaiah Likely, just taking another shot on a tight end, see if one of these dudes works out. I don't mind double dipping with all the fourth round picks you got for a really good athlete at the tight end position who was really good in college, really good route runner, isn't an amazing blocker just because of his size and everything, but he is a really good player. When he goes up against corners, he just destroys them. Like, he's too quick for linebackers. Like, he's just a mismatched tight end, and I really like just double dipping. And with their last fourth round pick, they took Demarion Williams. Yeah, I thought it was a bit of a reach for Demarion Williams, but I don't hate it. Undersized corner, probably going to be a slot in the league. But again, just more depth for the corner position. I don't hate it. If they like him, then I'm going to trust the Ravens. They do a good job. Another really good pick to end it off with Tyler Batty, who will be a really good pass-catching running back. That's what he did in college. Was amazing at doing that. Can also be a pretty good runner at times. But I think mainly is just going to be used on third downs, but can be a good weapon for the offense. I thought that was another good pick. So then we'll get to the Cincinnati Bengals, who took Daxton Hill for the first pick. Yeah, I like it, just picking best player available, even if it's not a huge need. I'm intrigued how they're going to use him because they kind of already got their safety duos. I don't really like it if he is a replacement for Jesse Bates. I feel like they should just re-sign Jesse Bates and then figure out what to do with Daxton Hill. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they move Daxton Hill to outside corner. I think that is an actual option for him because he does have the ideal size and the speed and knowledge to play outside corner, especially since Eli Apple is their other corner. Or they can just kind of use him as a matchup player, just bring him in, cover tight ends and stuff, which he can do pretty well, probably better than most corners and safeties. So I think they'll find a role for him. I'm just intrigued what it will be, but I do like the pick. And then they list him at safety here, which Cam Taylor-Britt did play some safety at Nebraska. He played more corner, played everywhere, played nickel, corner, and safety. Really good athlete, another dude who could potentially start on the outside just depending on what they do with Daxton Hill. So again, it's going to be really interesting to see how they use these two players. I guess we'll find out in preseason or the start of the year. But I feel like both these dudes at some point of the year will be starters on this defense. And I don't think it's a reach for Cam Taylor-Britt. He's a really good player, good run stopper also, this amazing athlete. So I don't mind the pick. And Zachary Carter, I'm not a huge fan of Zachary Carter. I didn't think they really needed another player who's kind of similar to Cameron Sample, who they drafted last year. And I think Cameron Sample's a better player. I thought they could have used maybe a bigger dude in the interior or just a pure edge rusher. He's kind of a tweener who played inside and outside. But yeah, it was a pretty effective pass rusher at Florida. It just, nothing about him really wows you when you watch him. I don't know. I think he could be a decent player. I just think the third round, I don't love it for Zachary Carter. Cordell Volson, I don't mind Cordell Volson. I think he'll be a good swing tackle because I think he can play left and right tackle. And I think he's definitely better than who they had, Isaiah Prince last year and all those dudes, Akeem Adeniji. I feel like he's an upgrade over them guys. I think in fourth round, maybe a bit of a reach, but if they think he could be a good swing tackle, good depth on the offensive line, that's what you kind of need, because if injuries do happen, then I think Cordell Volson could come in and hold his own. So I don't hate it. And Tyson Anderson, yeah, a good pick. Really good athlete for the safety position. So they're really attacking safeties and corners, I guess. They have them listed as three safeties, but I don't really see it. But Tyson Anderson probably just is a safety. But I mean, straight away he'll be an amazing special teamer just with um, his athleticism, but also has some upside at safety. I don't think he'll ever be a starter, but a really good backup. So yeah, it's fifth round for Tyson Anderson. I think it's good value. Jeffrey Gunter's a good pick. Was really productive at Coastal Carolina. Versatile player also. They kind of have a lot of those dudes now. They can use kind of all over the defensive line. It's going to be very interesting how this whole defense rotates because they got so many similar dudes. I think Jeffrey Gunter can find a good role. I don't think he'll ever be an amazing player, but he's a seventh round pick, so you're not really expecting that. But I think he can be a good rotational pass rusher, and he's a good run stopper. And then with the Cleveland Browns, they took Martin Emerson with their first pick. I like Martin Emerson. Corner is not the Browns' biggest need, so I feel like they could have gone somewhere else. But Martin Emerson probably just too good to pass up on. And it's always good to have depth on your secondary and your cornerback position. Martin Emerson is a really good zone corner. I think he does have everything to be a good press man corner. Like, wouldn't be surprised if he develops that. But the Browns do like to run a bit of zone. So I think it is a good fit. And I think he'll turn into a good player. He probably won't be starting straight away just because the players they already have at corner. But they did trade away their slot corner, but I don't see Martin Emerson's not going to play in the slot. He's just too big for that. But they don't really have a lot of holes, so I don't hate it. And then Alex Wright. Yeah, Alex Wright is a good player. Probably a bit of a reach for him in the third round. I probably wouldn't have took him there, but was a really good player at UAB. Is lower level competition, but I don't hate it too much. I think he'll provide good depth for the defensive line and come in and be a good rotational pass rusher also. And David Bell. Yeah, David Bell was really good at college. Just isn't really a good athlete. Very slow player. But good jump ball receiver. I think he can find a good role. But I feel like they probably needed more speed on their offense. I don't love kind of getting a similar player to Donovan Peoples-Jones. I feel like it's kind of redundant with him. Perrin Winfrey, though, was a really good pick in the fourth round. That's just a steal for a really good pass rusher, and Perrin Winfrey, kind of just a liability in run defender. They say he's a disruptive run defender. He's literally not. He doesn't do anything in the run defense. I don't know where they got that from. He's one of the worst run defenders. It just doesn't look like he tries, but I mean, I think he can become a better run defender because honestly, it just didn't look like he cared. But it was a really good pass rusher. I feel like they needed more of a run stopper, but I think it was just too good to pass up on it. You still need to get more players in that defensive line. There's really getting pass rushers. Like, their pass rush group is going to be pretty nasty with Perrin Winfrey in there and Myles Garrett. I didn't like taking a kicker in the fourth round. I mean, he is a good kicker, Cade York, and then they cut both their kickers after they drafted him. So, I mean, it shows that they trust him. I mean, if they can find the next, like, Justin Tucker, which he probably won't be, then I don't really like taking him in the fourth round. I don't know who else would have been taking a kicker. And Jerome Ford in the fifth round. Yeah, I don't mind Jerome Ford. I think he's a good running back. But, yeah, fifth round maybe a bit early. Because, I mean, they kind of don't really need running backs. Although Kareem Hunt, I feel like, will probably be gone after this year. And then maybe he can step in after that. I just don't think he'll see a lot of playing time this year. Especially just with the players they already got. Like, I think he'll be a good player, a good backup. He'll never be a starter. I just don't see him like that. But, yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. It's just not my favorite because I feel like they already had good depth for the position. They take another big receiver, Michael Woods. Yeah, I don't love taking Michael Woods. I didn't think he was a very good player. Another dude who's just kind of a jump ball receiver. I don't really see what role he'll have with all the other contested catches they already have. Isaiah Thomas in the seventh round was a really good pick. I think he could find a good role in this defense, kind of more of that speed rusher. They kind of took all those powerful rushers and they kind of got a good player, Isaiah Thomas, to offer a bit more speed to the pass rush. I think he can make the roster definitely and get into the rotation. And Dawson Deaton, He's not going to be their starting center. He's just not good enough. I guess it'll just be a good backup. That's it, though. And then we got the last team. Where are you at? Pittsburgh. Yep, Pittsburgh Steelers took Kenny Pickett with their first pick. Yeah, I don't mind taking Kenny Pickett. I think he'll be a decent player for Pittsburgh. I don't think he'll ever be elite for sure. He just doesn't have the upside. He just hasn't shown the progression in college to kind of show you that he can develop more in the NFL into an elite player. I think he'll be a middling quarterback, but I don't think he'll ever be elite, which I feel like they kind of need in that division for the elite quarterbacks. But if their defense can play really good football and Kenny Pickett can just kind of throw the ball around and not turn the ball over, I think it can be a good pick and will work out, and they could make some playoff runs. Like, would not be surprised. I just feel like it would have been better going for more upside and like Malik Willis or something, but then seeing his fall, yeah, I'm not too sure. I mean, I don't know how far Kenny Pickett would have fell if the Pittsburgh Steelers didn't took him. It kind of makes it look worse with like the next quarterback going in like the third round. Like maybe they could have got him later and then took a different player. There's still good players on the board. So, I mean, I don't know. You just never know. Maybe Kenny Pickett was by far the first quarterback out of all the teams and he would have gone quickly after. So it's kind of hard to know, but I think he will be a decent player. And then George Pickens was a really good pick in the second round. Just too good to pass up on. I thought George Pickens could have snuck into the first round. So getting him late in the second round, I think it's a phenomenal pick. Yeah, that wide receiver group's really good now, and then just adding George Pickens to it. Like, I mean, Kenny Pickett ain't got no excuses if he is a starter, or Mitch Trubisky. Like, they definitely got the weapons to throw to, and I think George Pickens can eventually be a high-end number 2 receiver. So I really like the pick. DeMarvin Leal is also a decent pick, a dude who was once seen as like a lock to be in the first round and then just had an underwhelming season. Yeah, so getting him in the third round, a dude who's pretty versatile, and I mean just adding to that defensive line group, which is getting a bit older in the interior. And I think DeMarvin Leal would probably play more of the interior, but kind of the way they use their defensive linemen, they kind of use them all over the place anyway. So I think he can find a good role. I feel like he'll produce quite a lot in his rookie year as a good rotational player. So I like the pick of DeMarvin Leal. And then again, Calvin Austin in the fourth round. Surprised he fell this far. Probably just because of his size and everything. But he's an elite athlete, super quick player who's just really good with the ball in his hands. Also a good returner. They've just got so much depth at the receiver position. I kind of wish he went to a team that he could start straight away, because I don't know if he'll do that. Like, he might be their 5th receiver, because they've just got so many guys there. So, I mean, I think one day he can eventually be their starting slot receiver. So I don't hate it. I just wish he went to a better team. Not a better team, a different team that could actually use him. But I mean, I get just take him then. Like, you don't want to pass up on a really good player. And then Conor Hayward in the 6th round, of course they do it again. Cameron Hayward's brother. Conor Hayward was a good fullback in college. Yeah, definitely. But they do have Derek Watt there also now, which it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. So I wonder if maybe they just move one of them to tight end. Like Conor Hayward, he did play kind of tight end at Michigan State. So I'm intrigued to see how they use them. Maybe they cut one of them and then angry the other brother. Like, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. And then Mark Robinson, Ole Miss. Yeah, just a decent outside linebacker. He'll probably just be a contributor on a special team. That's kind of his only role. And I didn't really get taking Chris Olajuwon out of South Dakota State. Like, I don't know. It is near the end of the 7th round pick. He's just not a very good quarterback. He does have a big arm and a decent athlete. But, I mean, like, they don't really need a quarterback. But maybe he'll just be a decent practice squatter. Yeah, whatever. So I didn't really hate it or like the pick. So now we'll get to the grades. The Steelers, I thought they had a really good draft. It's kind of just the early picks, and then they didn't really have a ton after that. I'll probably give the Steelers an A. I thought they did a really good job. I didn't mind the kind of pick either. So yeah, I think an A is deserving. Cleveland Browns, it wasn't the best draft, although their first pick was in the third round. But I mean, just looking at the third round picks they took, I do like Mark Emerson, but David Bell and Alex Wright kind of bring it down a bit, and then taking a kicker and then a running back, another jump ball receiver. Like, I'm gonna give it a C. I just don't really like it. Like, Perrin Winfrey was my favorite pick, but then also like he is not a good run defender. He's just a pass rushing defensive tackle, so I think it deserves a C. And then the Bengals, a very interesting draft. I thought Dax Hill, Cam Taylor-Britt were good picks. Zachary Carter wasn't the biggest fan. I don't mind Cordell Volson, swing tackle. And the last two picks were pretty good. I'll give them a B+. I feel like that's a decent grade. Where's the other team? Yeah, Ravens. Ravens, easy A+. See it everywhere. There wasn't really a lot that I didn't like. The only really ones I can really point out, I guess, Jordan is that in the fourth round, but I mean, it's one of their like 6 fourth-round picks, so whatever. It's a punter, and if he's really good, then it's not going to look bad. And then DeMar and Williams probably their worst pick, and you can't really get them for that. Like, even if there was better corners that did so well throughout the whole draft, that I didn't see a big deal in taking him. So that's the end of this. All my draft breakdowns. I'll see what other videos I can make later on. So yeah, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.